Amalia and Madeline coming to you on this beautiful summer Tuesday, talking about the Leo new moon, which is happening on July 24th, 3:10 p.m., 2 degrees, 7 minutes. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter cosmic chat. So for those of you who are tuning in live, you don't need to allot 2 hours today. We're going to be around the little over an hour mark for this. So let's just jump right into it, and then Madeline will dive into her forecast and kind of the overarching view of this moon cycle. So Leo body gates, we've got the heart, blood pressure, circulation, heart rate. So, I always think about this with the summer is like it's kind of like the time we do adrenaline kind of activities, like maybe surfing, or you're outside more, like you're really getting your heart rate going. And this is the time period, this Leo time period where, it's very heart forward. So not just physically, but also emotionally, feeling that compassion, especially with all that's happening in the world, really almost breaking our hearts open to have more compassion and love for others as well as for ourselves, because ultimately it's that circle that keeps coming back. I don't want to be remiss in mentioning we have 4 planets in retrograde motion: Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. So this is an absolutely pivotal time period of review and recalibration, and with this new moon energy, some resets. So with Mercury, we're talking about communication. With Saturn, it's the foundation and structure of your life. With Neptune, it's like your dreams and things that might seem illusory to you. And then Pluto is ultimate transformation and rebirth, but it also has to do with power. So these are pretty huge themes that are happening in all of our lives. The Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto retrograde, I feel is one that might feel maybe the most uncomfortable. The Mercury retrograde, most of us are somewhat used to that because it happens 2 or 3 times a year, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a pretty significant time for all of us. I want to show the impact chart very, very briefly. Not going to go into too much detail with it, but I think it's always helpful to see kind of where, hold on one second, it's not up. What the energies are and how they're playing out for each of us, especially since it's going to be straddling 2 signs. So it's not just the fixed signs. It's also going to affect the mutables. So this is significant in terms of its potential breadth of impact. So here you'll see here we've got the moon down here at the bottom of this chart, and it's in the sign of, hold on, it's like part of my screen is blocked. Sorry, with the Zoom things. So you can see down here, it's like part of it is in Cancer, it goes into Leo, and then in opposition we have the Aquarian and Capricorn energy, and then we're bouncing over here to the Libra and Scorpio energy, and Aries and Taurus. So if you have any points or planets in the early degrees of the fixed signs or the latter degrees of the mutables, this will be affecting you personally. And I think that's where, all of us can, take a look at your chart. There's a link below here in the description where you can get a copy of your chart and kind of see where these points and planets are for you. There is a lot of fairly harmonious energy. Madeline, I feel like you're going to be talking about this too, so I'm not going to go into a deep dive on it, and you'll be pulling up the chart. But we've got a few aspects here to the moon. So the moon and the sun, as always, hanging out together in the sign of Leo. The themes are, like I said, very heart forward, has to do with self-expression, confidence, creativity. So those are themes that will show up in your life for this particular moon cycle. Then we also have the moon is trine Saturn and trine Neptune, which is really lovely because these planets, Saturn in particular, can feel somewhat challenging. This will really enhance this time period for us to be able to gracefully integrate some of our lessons and be able to carry them forward in this very heart centered sort of way. Saturn will bring in the energies of enhancing your focus, some discipline, that ability to manifest your goals. So be sure to set some intentions and have some clarity that comes in right now. It doesn't necessarily mean you're taking action because we've got that Mercury retrograde happening right now. It's not the time to necessarily start something new, but if it's something that you're reviewing or you're revisiting, that's okay. Then the trine to Neptune, that has a lot to do with connecting to your deeper sense of purpose, to the connection with yourself. It's a really beautiful time to pay attention to your dreams. You're going to have lots of really important information that may come through in your dreams. Don't ignore symbols or especially repetitive dreams. And then we have another positive aspect of the moon sextile Uranus. So you will likely have this urge to break free of conventional thinking. And it's a period of inspiration and sudden insight. So you might have these like something, this like an innovative idea that just drops in, or something that happens that surprises you but leads you to, might shake up your way of thinking about something. And then the final aspect is the moon opposing Pluto. I think this is probably the most challenging aspect that is at play for at least what's happening with the moon. Pluto is the planet of transformation and power, has to do with your personal power, your personal authenticity. There might be some intense, this could be intense emotionally. We're going to be really confronted with our fears and any outdated beliefs or patterns that are showing up in our lives. It's time to release those. And this also is a time to reflect on your relationship with authority, control, and your self-worth. So, because we've got that opposition to Leo, which has to do with like how you see yourself, how you express yourself in the world. And, it's Leo's ruled by the sun, so it's this bright, shining light. So with Pluto in opposition, that may feel a little, there may be some challenge that comes up. And I personally can speak to some fears that have shown up in my life, some this like feeling of like this power over, and how you break free of that. And I feel like the nice sextile with Uranus is supportive of that. So if anyone else has that showing up in their world, we've got some really great cosmic support that is happening. Really, really quickly, super quickly, I just want to touch in on the gene key for this moon cycle, and then we'll share the flower, and then Madeleine will hit the ground running. I find this so interesting. We have gene key 31 with the shadow of arrogance, the gift of leadership, and the Siddhi, Siddhi of humility. There's a link below for a video that will tell you a little bit more about the gene keys if this is the first time that you are seeing this and why we're bringing it up. So when you think about Leo, Leo is confident, but Leo can also come off as arrogant. They know it all. Look at us. And so to me, it's the shadow of arrogance, where that's kind of like the shadow side of Leo, and then humility, like through the gift of leadership. So Leos are leaders. Are they leading through an arrogant lens of I know it all and look at me and like this bravado? Or is it leadership that comes from a heart-centered place and that has a sense of humility to it as well? This to me is such a beautiful opportunity for all of us to reflect on these words. It's literally shifting into this key just a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours before the new moon. So it's so in line with exactly what we're opening ourselves up to during this Leo cycle. So it's just a fun place for contemplation if anyone chooses to do so. And then the flower, Madeleine, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this flower. I was thinking when I was connecting with the flower energy that it was going to be something a little bolder. But when I saw the flower itself, I realized it's so perfect, especially if you take into the consideration that gene key. We have the navel orange blossom. So we've got the beautiful orange of power, of the sacral chakra, to me kind of connected with the sun. But then there's the green, which is very heart centered, and then there's this purity of white in the center. And the navel orange blossom activates warmth within yourself. So maybe giving yourself, and this is, it's warm outside in most places, it's summer, but it's also like that internal warmth. It's a message that it's good to be alive. And so this flower, what I love about this too is that it really allows us to find the joy in our lives, to really open ourselves up to joy. It also has to do with the reproductive system. So maybe we're birthing new ideas in this new moon. We're birthing a new project. Again, not necessarily the best time with the Mercury retrograde energy, but being able to kind of get your ducks in a row and gain more clarity and be able to, once the energy shifts, to be able to hit the ground running. And then, having the retrograde energy of Saturn and Neptune that will help you to kind of really anchor that in. And then Pluto, it's a whole, fresh start, new beginning, maybe from a more empowered place. So I really, really love the navel orange blossom. For those of you who aren't familiar with this, these are a Lotus Way Flower Evolution deck are the cards that I use for this. And the Radiant Energy is the product that I'm recommending for this moon cycle right here. I actually have it. This this is a mist, and it smells like, it smells fresh and clean. And there's a,
Thanks for mine. Every time you do that, I have to get mine out.
That's right. We're all getting a little spray, a little goodness. But the navel orange blossom is in this, and you can see even just by looking at it, there's something kind of bright and summery, cheerful about it too. So lots of good stuff, lots of good possibilities that are to come. And Madeline, I'm very excited to hear what your take is on this Leo new moon.
Yeah, well, you touched on a lot of the things that are happening on this new moon. So with that, so the sun is opposing Pluto as well. And so it is going to reveal fears, power struggles, because we've got Mars squaring Venus. So we've got some sort of power struggle between masculine, feminine relationships. And then we've got this deep fear, the sun illuminating this debilitating type fear. But let me go ahead and pop the chart.
Sounds good.
I'll explain it better that way. So yeah, so there we have that sun opposite the Pluto in Aquarius, which is a lighter energy. But the point of these new beginnings, because they sextile Uranus, which is trining Pluto. So these are the new beginnings that we have initiated before already, like you touched on, these retrograde planets that we did not have the courage for, that we did not have the belief in ourselves for, we didn't value we didn't have the confidence for, or we may have had, you touched on new beliefs, our beliefs didn't align with it at the time. Now we've got this Uranus at 0 degrees where we're having these brand new, this is the brand new starts of commerce. Gemini is the energy of commerce, ideas, technologies in the sign of media technologies. So there's this flow now, there's this supportive element of Uranus at 0 degrees to initiate these brand new beginnings, although they are not entirely brand new, but we're now making them more, we're putting more courageous, bold initiative into it, which is like that flower, that bold, I thought it was kind of bold. And so we're taking more initiative here to initiate these new beginnings because we've overcome our fears. But really what this is mass awakening. This is the awakening to the illusion of the powers, we're waking up in this new moon because of this configuration that we are independent beings in sovereignty and that we are not oppressed beings. So we're waking up to with all that corruption and all, and because the new moon is going to reveal truths, corruptions that are coming out, all this stuff that's coming out could top, things are in big flux, but who we are as people in all of this is that we're initiating through all of that perhaps downfalls of structures that are no longer serving us. We're starting these new beginnings that are the initiates of this new era. And it's through us, it's through our new beginnings, because Leo and Aquarius are opposite. So Leo new beginnings serves the humanity, and it's the revolution. This revolution is about sovereignty rather than violence. It's about waking up to the truth, which is that we are empowered sovereign beings and we don't need an oligarchy. We are independent. So we're capable to manifest our abundance on our own talent. Leo is very much about talent and entrepreneurship, right? And so we're waking up to the illusion that we've got the courage now because we're seeing behind the Wizard of Oz curtain. So it's like we see behind the lies now, and this can be in our own personal lives too. The fear, the lie that we're not abundant, that that we can't succeed, that our ideas aren't good, that we're not sovereign beings, that we're not, that we see. New moon Leo is going to put us in a position to lead every one of us in that Leo house, to take leadership sort of roles. I can see it happening for me because it's happening in my second house right now. So I'm seeing it already. So we're stepping up. So this is going to be a collective shift through the individual, which is what the age of Aquarius is all about. It's about the most everybody walking the most individual, divinely created sovereign path that they were created for, the Leo, courageously knowing that it was a lie that we shouldn't, or that we couldn't be abundant on that path. And so with this trine to Saturn in retrograde, we're correcting our paths, we're correcting our out of aligned ways that create not, which were fear-based. So we're coming back to something from the past that we were too afraid of, we didn't have the courage for, that we believed we couldn't succeed in this environment, in these times, because of the Capricorn. Pluto was in Capricorn. So we didn't believe in our sovereignty. We didn't, so many readings I've been doing lately, just the Leo card keeps coming out, the strength card. And I'm like, what is going? And then I realized, wow, we're building the courage. We're building the audacity. And you're seeing the rose colored glasses come down over the illusions that the game we thought we had to play doesn't have to be played anymore. It's like that lion is on his own path, he's a tribe leader, and all of us were designed to be leaders in our tribe in an area. We're all designed to be a guru to our tribe in an area. There's always going to be an astrologer in the bunch. There's always going to be a house builder in the bunch. There's always going to be a doctor in the bunch. There's always going to be a lawyer in the bunch. So you're stepping forward to be your Leo version of the new earth that collectively brings us into the age of Aquarius, which is the age of liberation. Like you said, that Uranian, this new moon has this incredible aspect to Uranus, which means we're being supported to take an independent path, liberated independent path, where we lead the way, where we're courageous enough for facing our fears. We're not feeling afraid of the oligarchy or the powers that be that are dominant, or that there's some sort of lie that we're not capable of creating abundance without them, or that kind of a concept. And then we're really supported by Saturn in retrograde, which is healing that fear-based motive energy, which blocked our path, our courageous path. Now we've got the big South Node Mars conjunction at the same time, squaring Venus, which means we're really letting go of some sort of attachments. And also that Saturn in retrograde, we're clearing karma, and we're clearing old operating ways we operate in relationships, and we're letting that go. In Gemini, Venus, and this is what's going to move things forward, that Leo new moon. That's why I keep getting the Leo card in all my readings, because it's happening after this Mars comes off, because everything is blocked and all the planets are on one side of the nose. So Mars is breaking that. And so now that opens everything up for everybody. And then this Leo new moon beginning at that point, it's like, even though we've got these planets in retrograde, we are definitely in motion going forward, starting these new beginnings that are going to liberate us, that are part of the new age, that are it's individual people moving the collective. into liberated state. And it happens through a mass awakenings, realizing that we're being lied to, or that we're being manipulated, or that, and we're letting go of the fear that we are okay, because the programming, the programming that the times that we're afraid, or we don't feel we're going to be okay, or whatever, is programming. We're not programmed to the right thing. So this Leo new moon is going to show us that we didn't need to be programmed to that we need to be programmed to the stars, to the truth, which is as above, so below, and that we are multidimensional beings, and that we are here, that our material realm is a result of the ethereal realm, or our soul, our body is just a sock over our soul, and that the real power is knowing that we have a soul that can manifest as above, so below as individuals. So that's when that curtain falls out in Wizard of Oz, that curtain comes down, that we needed the wizard. So
Well, you know what strikes me about that is that there's so much, the people that watch this likely already have a sense of that concept, and of that we're multidimensional, and at the as above so below. And I think when it comes down to the practicality of it, is that in this material realm, we experience challenge, we experience heavy emotions, we experience like this full spectrum of what it is to be human. And the positive and negative of that, like from our perception. I think what I have found in my experience is that when you're in a time of challenge, or something that's really super uncomfortable, and you have no idea what the future holds, like it's so unknown, and it's out of your control to a certain extent. There's other factors or people involved, that it's really hard to put what we know to be true into practice when you feel so unsettled and untethered. I think astrology, as well as other systems that I work with, like human design and even the gene keys, galactic astrology, really help. The flower essences help to support. But I think what it boils down to is recognizing that when there's a challenge, there's also something that is out of coherence. There's a frequency that's looking to come into some place of coherence. And how do you do that? It's by being with and like releasing, maybe in your body, some of the energy that shows up, like the flip-floppy stomach, or the heart racing that you have when you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, whatever the thing is for you. And then to be able to move that energy and release that energy, and strike that balance also between doing and being, action and rest, and to not necessarily push away the discomfort, but allow it some spaciousness to be there, and trust, especially when you have a sense of the astrology, that everything is kind of sorting itself out, and it's working its way out for you, and being able to follow some of the transits to know that there's a potential resolution in sight. I don't want to say end in sight, but more of a resolution in sight, so that you can find a place to stand and feel like the earth isn't moving beneath you.
well, yes, tarot and astrology really are there to help you through it. And here's the thing, when all these planets are in cycles, they're always going to be squaring. It's always going to be a Pluto opposition. It
Yeah.
has to be. So that's why they want to help us through those, because the stars are trying to align us so that we're not struggling down here. So if we align with the consciousness of the cosmos, then we don't suffer. Really, ultimately, you would not suffer, because you would always be the holy men that discovered astrology, or that showed it to us, were extremely sacred. They were highly revered, respected men. They were considered holy men, because they would walk in alignment with the planets and with the cosmos, and so they were experiencing life on a very heightened level. So it's the struggle. If we're struggling too much, and we're in resistance, these are all concepts that are really, we're manifesting our internal being out, as within so without, as what we think we are going to manifest. So but these fears like that Pluto is going to bring up, I mean, I'm sure many people are going to get triggered, especially the lower degree fixed signs, are going to definitely feel this because they're going to get squared, they're going to get triggered by it. And so your fears are going to come up. You could get very, very triggered. And then the question is, with that Saturn retrograde, do you revert back to your old karmic patterns? Or do you break through this with that Uranian sextile? I think the chances that we are going to break through our patterns, triggered fears, and that we're going to be more, that's what Saturn wants us to do, is be detached, disciplined, unreactive, and you know, not to act basically on that from that place. So that creates karma. So these, and also this is the fears that we were programmed from childhood, or you know, the dark ages, parents, family. We were not raised consciously to be independent. We were, my generation was more raised to get a government secure job. I mean, that's like, you know, some kind of a secure thing, right? So and that's not working out for a lot of people anymore. That doesn't really work today. So today we got to walk our courageous paths, our individual courageous paths. And sorry if my teeth look green. I'm drinking a green smoothie. So this full moon is, this new moon is having us take these courageous new initiatives despite our fears. It's that let's do it, you know, or let's go with it. But I think we're feeling very courageous because we're gonna, something supports this very strong. We're gonna feel universally supported because of that Saturn trine and the Uranian trine. Now, the thing we got to get over is that square with Mars and Venus, which is a challenge because it's a, and then we got that opposition. We're definitely getting pride. We're definitely getting power plays. But also we're getting information because that Mercury retrograde with the sun opposite Pluto, we're getting secrets coming out, communication coming out, truths coming out, the reason why it didn't work before, and we're seeing sort of a depth, because Pluto's always depth. So we're seeing the depth of the truths and the depths of what was preventing us from having this courage or this belief, lack of self-belief. So anyway, it can be painful for some people, but the other side of it, like you were mentioning, is courage, is we probably, I'm pretty sure we get over it. Pretty sure we jump in. By the looks of the cards that I've been getting lately, these are great new beginnings. This is it. This is like the blocks are kind of out. We're out of the blocks, or out of the, whatever we could call it, like we're out of the woods and into the field where we can see where we're headed, and things are opening up and these new beginnings are coming. So I suppose we should just jump into all the 12 signs, really.
Yeah, let's do it. So Aries.
Oh, yeah. Let's go with Aries.
Did you want to hold up a card, Madeline, for this?
Yes. Yes, I do. Thank you for saying. Mars, Aries. Let's stop the share for a minute. Aries. And then I said, oh no, I don't share with that. That's right. I don't, I suddenly got confused. Okay. So yes, so Aries is going to be, let me get Aries on the first, in the first here. So you guys have this in your, you got Pluto in your 11th house. So you're overcoming a fear of social media, what people think of you, allowing yourself to sort of be an eccentric, and whatever who you are is what you get vibe. And that's a big deal because, you know, that's how you be successful, actually. And then you get this beautiful new moon in your 5th house. You could be having a child, or a metaphor of like a entrepreneurial venture, creative project. Saturn in your 1st house in retrograde. Saturn rules your 10th. Wow. This is a big new beginning for your career, Aries, where you really do step into some very soul contracted divine purpose. Like I say, we're going to hear this word passion project a lot, Leo, and it's in your 5th house. So this is a collaborative, creative project, could be involving film, because that 5th and 11th access is the stage and the sort of the celebrity access, but it's like performing, enlightening the public with that Aquarius over your 11th, like some sort of leadership in a creative venture that really helps to awaken the people. And then you've got your Saturn in your first house where you're really taking responsibility. You're really stepping up, you're maturing, you're taking on some sort of big thing on your shoulder. A big but you're gonna do it. It makes you strong. You're ready for it. It's now these new beginnings inspire us. So go ahead.
All right. Well, we have the squash blossom for Aries. And to me, what I find interesting is already out of the gate, we've got this has, your personal power, the orange color chakra energy is so pronounced and prevalent right now.
Mm,
You're
yes.
tapping into your personal power. The squash blossom connects with the reproductive system. So if you think about this from the perspective of like birthing something, it almost looks like birthing something. It also has this sort of quality of like being able to express something in a way, in a very creative way. This is also a flower of liberation, inspiration. So I feel like when it comes to, you were talking about Aries and kind of that career focus, there might be something for them when it comes to some creative project that relates to their career. And I would be remiss in also if I didn't mention that this also has a strong connection to a healthy reproductive system as well. And Leo, fifth house connection,
Scorpio of you
children.
to bring that up. Just kidding.
Pardon?
So Scorpio of you to bring that up.
I mean, what can I say? True to my ascendant side.
Yes.
So the squash blossom for Aries.
Yes, Aries. In fact, these retreats that I know a lot of Aries that are really stepping into some really big projects that are very exciting.
Yay
So,
for them.
and it's inspiring. This is inspiring new beginnings, like you mentioned. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So for Taurus,
Taurus.
Taurus, hang in there, Taurans. A lot of Taurans I know are really going through quite a bit of change here, and everybody is because a lot of people are really in it. Like we're in the thick of it right now, basically. A lot of people are because we're in this big shift. So some things are ending in time for us to have these powerful new beginnings, right? So for Taurus, this new moon is going to be in your fourth house. So yeah, you're going to be moving, a new beginning. You're going to be aligned to where you're supposed to live for the long haul, because this is all connecting to all these new beginnings is really connecting to the big new Saturn start that's happening. Because it's being trined by Saturn. So this is connected to a 12th house, karma clearing energy that now puts you in a very bold position to really, you've cleared some sort of major soul karma. 12th house is like some sort of big overall ending of a big cycle in your soul kind of thing, past life, resolving it. And now you're really over something. You've got nothing's holding you back. You're ready to do this. You're fired up. You want to create some sort of new foundation in your fourth house, new security, new stable living situation. Taurans are here to create stability and foundational sort of financial, stability, of course, is what that means mostly, but in this fourth house. So then there also could be a new creative project involved, a building. You could have an idea to build a new house, to create something new in your home. Again, could be a child having a baby, or an entrepreneurial venture is at your home. A fourth house could be farming and planting, so a new creative venture involving the ground, the earth, farming. It depends what else. Boy, Taurans are definitely earthy. They're definitely gardeners. I've yet to meet a Tauran that doesn't love to be in the dirt and move dirt around. So perhaps a new creative gardening venture of some sort. Now, what else there with that? Pluto in your 10th. So you're going to get over some kind of major fear of, you're going to see that you're playing small. This is where we've been playing small, and you're going to stop playing small. And you're going to step out, and you're going to stop feeling like you're not good enough or not enough to be out in that 10th house, up in the world. Like that. Leo, be proud of yourself. Step out in the world and lead. So that is for Taurus.
Okay. So Taurus, we have the chocolate daisy for you. So we're shifting a little bit more in the yellow solar plexus category, a little more emotions might be
Confidence. That was
you
what
know,
I was saying
coming
with that. Yes.
come into the surface for you. The chocolate daisy activates simplicity. So what I kind of the way I interpret this is, especially if with the fourth house activation, is there might be some simplicity that you can bring into your home. Where can you simplify something there? Maybe not necessarily organized, but maybe you're making things too complicated for yourself. This is when you might be confused about something. Maybe you're looking to put an addition on your house and you're stuck because you're trying to make it so much more complicated than it needs to be, or maybe you're confused about what to do. This is the time that you'll have some clarity. You'll get maybe a little unstuck, which leads to what? The joyfulness of whatever that is. And that's so Leo, that joy and fun. So the chocolate daisy, just keep it simple, Taurus, keep it simple.
Isn't that funny how there's dirt in the center of that? Like I was talking about the dirt of
Oh, it
how
does look like dirt. Yeah, yeah, that's so funny. Love it.
I don't know what to say about that, but there's dirt there.
There's
All
dirt.
right. Okay, so there's Gemini. So Gemini, Leo in your third house. So
Card. You got it?
yep, Gemini. Is it backwards? Is it showing backwards to you?
Nope, it's correct.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, so this is your third house. So it's like new ideas, big deal. You got Uranus in your third house. You're stepping into media projects, social. A lot of times when people have transits in their third house, they start Instagram feeds or they start their websites, they start a business, it's commerce, it's Hermes, ideas, writing projects. You've got Uranus in your sign. So this is going to be an interesting time for you in general. And Gemini is a third house energy. So there's this new creative media project for Gemini, new creative writing project, a new creative business, entrepreneurial business venture, involving most likely co-collaborative. Leo is always the fifth house, which is friends and collaboration. So there might be collaborative, could also be relationships with your divine counterpart or your destined soul contracted partner. Business is opening up here and it's trining that Saturn in the 11th house. So everything is like Uranus is in your first house, which is like Gemini is the media sign anyway. You've got Uranus in your first house, which is all about like liberating you financially through media projects. You've got Saturn in your, for about 2.5 years in your 11th house, which is like social media, networking, the public arena, publishing. So if you're a writer, you get published, in the next 2.5 years. But there's a lot of like surprising shifts and changes in the lives of Gemini. Like totally like, I remember when I had, if your sun is Gemini, when I had Uranus on my sun, that was I was like my whole life in that 8-year period, I moved country, got married, went to college, got married, had kids. Like in that 8-year period, it was like so many things happened. So it's like we're really looking at a lot of changes. And the fact that your third house is being lit up at that warm, that fire lighting up your Leo house, this creative, inspiring new media venture that's very, you want to do it. And you're stepping forward and leading in your field, in your third house is your thing. So what else can we say? Pluto in your ninth. So there is awakening, a spiritual awakening for Gemini, where they start to see a spiritual higher consciousness mentality. It's most likely that they're stepping out in these media ventures to raise knowledge, raise consciousness, raise awareness of something. It's a humanitarian thing. Again, we're all motivated to not to fix the world from like a broken lower density vibe, but to initiate new beginnings that grow the world, that make everything better. Because the ninth house is about serving humanity as well. The 11th house is the 11th house is humanitarianism, and the ninth house is making life higher quality. So there's this theme here for Gemini where they're stepping out and they know they've got clarity to step forward out in the world, be brave, get out there, sell something, sell a product, get out there that is going to help raise quality of standard of living for humanity. There you go.
All right. Well, Gemini, we've got society garlic for you.
Yeah.
And you're talking about communication, that third house. This dissolves fear of attack, and you're unaffected or uninfluenced by the external world. So I feel like when you're putting yourself out there in a way, when you're communicating something, you're writing a book, you're sharing something, there is always that risk of other people not receiving it well. But
Mhm.
however, there's something that needs to be brought out into the light, that needs to be shared, that needs to be shown. So this is a really supportive flower and energy for Geminis to be able to do that. It also gives you this feeling like I'm not afraid to take a stand. So it's that courageous Leo energy that is available. And then it also gives you that ability to be seen by the public as like a solid person, like somebody that could be trusted with what you're sharing and what you're communicating in whatever form that is for you. So I feel like the society garlic really touches in on a lot of what you were talking about, and even the expansion of the flower, like that opening up and expanding out and being seen and sharing, even comes through
Yeah,
with the picture.
that looks very informative.
Look at me, look at
A
me.
lot of information coming from
Yeah.
Gemini, bursting out of them.
That's right.
Okay,
All
so
right.
next we have
Cancer.
Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Cancer. Yeah, so you've got Jupiter in your sign, fabulous for Cancers. I'm loving it, loving it. New moon in your second house of finances. It's really awesome for Cancers. I'm experiencing it right now. Um, a lot of new exciting things happening. So we got stuff, perhaps a relationship coming in from the past because Saturn rules your house, your relationship houses, your eighth and your seventh, and Mercury's in retrograde. So perhaps a creative project from a co-partner or somebody that you partnered with in the past, or a relationship. It can be business partnership, it can be romantic, it can be just friendship. An idea coming in from the past that wants to be redone and tried out again, which is extremely auspicious. These are in alignment new beginnings that will liberate the Cancerian financially, because by the way, all these new beginnings are going to bring everybody financial liberation because it makes a nice sextile to that Uranus. So these are new beginnings that bring us long-term abundance because they trine Saturn. Anytime you have a Saturn contact, we know this is going to be long-term. So these are new beginnings. So communication, a person from the past, reigniting a passion project, a creative venture, entrepreneurial project. Now with that Saturn in your 10th house, this is going to potentially shift your career to a whole new angle or new tilt. And Pluto in your eighth house, boy, opposite your second house, you're going to be, Cancers are going to be, Pluto in Aquarius is 100 times lighter than Pluto in Capricorn. Like, but it's still going to be opposite your second house, Cancers. So you're going to be a little bit nervous sometimes, but you're going to be every time you're going to be learning not to be attached to money. Basically, you have to be with Pluto. No matter who has Pluto over their eighth, that's the journey. So for that period, you're going to be taking these new beginnings. They're going to be inspired and fun, and the more relaxed and fun you have with these new beginnings, and less preoccupied about your fears, not motive for long-term financial stability. This brings long-term financial stability, even though it may not seem so. And because we're going against our fear that it won't. That's why we didn't do it before. We didn't know how to make money at it. Right. So now we see that it's universally supported with that Saturn and Uranus connection. So, and don't forget that Mars is opposite the nodes here. I keep forgetting to add that in, but I'm going to put all this into the monthlies that I'm going to do. So, but basically, so we're really shifting our debt. We're really going through more spiritual, more ventures, ninth house, travel, new beginnings involving empathic projects, spiritual, astrology, or just like um, um, these are new beginnings that are going to be connected to some sort of empathic work that Cancers are doing, psychic abilities. Like for me, my moon is there. So there's some sort of new kind of side shoot. Leo is the energy of the side job, the job that you, so you have your main job, like if you're an actor, most actors and actresses are Leo. And so they have their day job waitressing, and then they put one foot in the acting job, and then eventually they put both feet in that. But they have to do both for a while, right? So that's Leo. That's like, I've got 2 feet, two things going on at once, but I can soon do this. So we're seeing that for Cancer, some sort of spiritual mission, some sort of dharmic calling mission, stepping into a financial new beginning that eventually pulls that becomes most likely your true calling career. And it's
All
going
right.
to involve your divine partner because Saturn rules, or your sole contracted partner in this, because Saturn rules your 7th house.
All right. Well, I think
Yeah.
this is a really lovely flower
Oh,
for there
nice.
we go, for Cancer. So this is the pink primrose. The pink primrose activates rapid growth, and the message is make it effortless. So it's like effortless rapid growth. I mean, talk about, that's really quite lovely to think
That's
about.
right, that Pluto thing where we're not supposed to be afraid anymore. Just kind of have a good time and not worry about it.
And is so joyful. I believe this flower is even in joy juice, which is one of the elixirs of Lotus Way. So the other part of this is really take some time to tune into what your big vision of the future is. Like really anchor that in. Internally, it's personal growth. Externally, this is like creative, career oriented type of focus. So the pink primrose really is bringing in the internal and the external in order to bring a big vision to life, all part of like rapid growth, but it's a prime opportunity for Cancerians to really create something great and bring in that second house financial windfall or stability that they're looking for.
Yeah, that really reminds me, because Jupiter, the 9th house is ruled by Jupiter for Cancer. Jupiter's in their 1st house, which is going to make you a lot of luck. And that purple is the color of Jupiter. So it's kind of like saying some sort of 9th house dharmic passion project is going to open up for Cancer.
Ooh,
I
ooh,
can kind
ooh,
of feel
ooh.
it. Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
So
Now, Leo.
Leo, wow, Leo, I don't know what to say for you guys. Wow, this is going to be interesting for Leo, because you got Pluto opposite you got Pluto in your 7th house opposite your ascendant or your sun. So so this new moon is the new moon for Leo, where they make a breakthrough about an area in their life that they have been not courageous enough to be authentic around. So it's like something about them that they've not had the guts to step out and be. And now they're like, I'm there. You're stepping up to the plate. Leo are stepping up to the plate and being their authentic lioness self, and shedding this. Now remember, Pluto is the energy of transformation. So we're shedding a skin that's too tight for the Leo. That's going, that's like the Leo's going to bust out of this repressed thing, because Leos, like you said, are leaders, and they are, if they've got Pluto, they're you know, in Wizard of Oz, you know, the lion is really cowardly, you know, until he pulls back that curtain, you know.
Uh-huh.
Leos can either be the loudest people in the room or the quietest people. It depends if the Leo's got a little bit of a splinter in his paw. And so they, you know, the Leos don't do well with, they need to be happy. Like Leos are happy. And so this Leo is busting out of your self-imposed belief of that you weren't free, that you couldn't be this full, colorful being that you are, and that you would have been held back with, because we've got that Saturn in your 9th house, and then you got Uranus in your 11th. This is going to be a transformative time for Leos, where they do really start to become, if you're on a social media journey, because your 11th house, where you do become more social media successful, more known, published, notoriety. Suddenly anything can happen with that Uranus in your 11th house. You meet lots of new people all of a sudden. You get a lot of word of mouth. It's very abundant to have Uranus. I know because I just had it go through my and so these are new beginnings, and they do involve leadership because you've got Aries over your ninth house. So you're taking bold spiritual positions of leadership, spiritually leading people to a better, higher quality of life. Leo, leader, to be a leader is, you know, you have to have a specific point, and you know, without a doubt, I'll quickly tell a story. I was working at this horse sanctuary, and we played this game that if you could lead the horses without a rope, that you were in leadership energy and you could do it. Well, I'm a Sagittarius. We're reluctant leaders. We're the last of the ones that step up to lead. Anyway, so I don't really want to be a leader, but I thought I'd like to be able to lead the horses without a rope. I'd like to believe that I can, right? So every time I go out to the horse, I tell all the people working there, I'm going to do it. I'm going to lead the horses. I got it. I'm in leader energy. And then I'd go out there and I'd watch, everybody would watch me. And then I'd go out there, the horses would look at me. There's like 5 horses, and they'd all start eating again. And everybody would get back to what they were doing. And I would be like, oh, I sucked. Like, it didn't work.
Aw.
So after about 4 or 5 times of doing it, I just never could do it. And so I just thought, wow, this is really weirdly hard. I thought all I had to do was just decide I was a leader, and I was out there and I was a leader. Well, so a friend of mine was a director, and he wanted me to channel how to be a leader from spirit guides. So the spirit came through, bright blue eyes, bright spirit, said to be a leader, you only need 2 things. You only need 2 things. One, you got to know exactly where you're pointing. You got to have a pinpoint. You got to know exactly where and you got to know without zero doubt, without any doubt, that over there is better than where we are here. You have to have complete belief that over there is better than where we are here. That was what this spirit came through. So the next day I go into the horses. I go, I think I've got it. I told everybody, and everybody's watching because I just went into the paddock and I stood in front of the horses. I said, you see that branch over there in the corner of the paddock? I'm telling you, I know without zero of a doubt that over there is better than where we are here. And I start walking there, and all of a sudden, everybody starts jumping up and down, like going, oh my God, you did it. The horses are breathing in my ears. I couldn't believe it. So I keep walking. All of them, they're like right, all their heads. I hear, and I walk straight to that branch, and I said, okay, everybody, see that corner over there where the shed is? There's shade. We're going over there because I know without a zero of a doubt that over there is better than where we are here. And we walk. I mean, I had the horses with me everywhere. So that's the message here for the Leos and the Aries and the fire signs, that you're going to point. You got to know, you have clarity that over there is better than where we are here. That's the job of a leader. So
That was a great story. I've heard that story before, but there's something about the way you told it today
yeah,
that's different than the way you've told it in the past. And I freaking loved it. That was so fun. I felt like I was there. I could feel the horses breathing
yep.
in my
Interesting.
ears with you, and my hair was blowing around, and that was fun. Thank you, Madeline.
You know, it's interesting when I think, you're welcome. Thanks. It's fun to tell it. But you know, what's interesting about that story is that's the way this new moon is. It's like a breakthrough, that you suddenly have that, I can lead this. I can take this forward, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for letting me tell it.
Yeah, that was really fun. Well, we have a flower that I think really connects in with what you were saying. Slightly different from, I think you touched very
I
much that
can't do the
story.
part.
Oh, dang. Okay.
You do
Well,
it now, remember.
when you see the pink primrose from the
Yeah.
last one, you'll know.
Okay.
Um, so we have another pink card this time, pinkish,
Oh,
purplish. We have the fireweed, okay? Fire sign of Leo, fireweed flower. This has more to do with the heart. Okay, so felt like illustrated the leadership part of this so beautifully. This is about healing the heart by dissolving emotions around experiences. So experiences that might have not worked out the way we wanted. So maybe I guess it does have some connection to what you shared. Like, you went out there with those horses and you were really trying, and it just didn't work out the way you wanted, and you had to go back and do it again and strengthen your capacity to lead, but also to love, and then forgive yourself or forgive others. So not a direct connection to the story that you told, but I think this is such a big piece of the Leo puzzle for Leos in particular, because Leos have a big heart, and sometimes with that big heart can get hurt because it's so out there.
Doesn't
Forgive your,
take much to make a Leo hurt.
yes. I mean, I will say I can be somewhat sensitive in that regard. It's like, oh, you're my
But that's what
feeling.
you know about them. They're hard to.
Yeah. Throw a Leo sun and a Pisces ascendant together and see how that goes sometimes, where it's like one is upset about one thing, the other is upset about the other. We find our way through, but you definitely, there's some sensitivity there for sure. So at any rate, fireweed for Leo. Just, I would say the big takeaway here is just know that healing your heart is going to be a big theme for you, which could potentially lead to some sort of leadership, because now you're no longer allowing any pain from the past to stand in your way. So
Yes, and that's
powerful
the
time.
purple energy with your dharma, because that just you're going to be courageously stepping forward onto your purpose. All right. I'm so proud of everybody.
Yes, I am too. All right.
Everybody's stepping courageously into their callings. Okay.
All right,
Uh,
Virgo, don't forget the
Virgo,
card.
you guys, I hope you're all okay, Virgos. You've got the South Node and Mars in your first house, so I'm sure you're going through a little bit of a not such an easy time.
Madeline.
Oh, so angry at myself when I do these and I go back and I go, I didn't pull the card. Okay, Virgo. This is a tough time for you, but a good time too, because you become, shall we say, liberated from yourself in a way, from your own self restraint, stressful ways of operating. I mean, the South Node in Virgo, you're really letting go, doing a whole aspect of the way you kind of operate that is shadow, and you're going more towards a spiritual flow energy with that North Node. But now with you guys, with this Leo is a new moon in your 12th house. So new ventures, traveling. Let me see where Saturn is. Saturn is in your 8th. And then we've got Pluto in your 6th, Uranus in your 10th. So basically we're looking at a overcoming some weird, I don't say weird, but some deep karmic block towards being confident and believing in your ability to, because Virgos are always going to be medicine people. Virgos are medicine. The two signs that are kind of medicine everywhere they go are Virgo and Scorpio. They just are. And so there's this sort of letting go of the shadow aspect of Virgo so that you can step into being the healer Virgo, the servicing Virgo, the Virgo that is super observant, detail, and gifted in their ability to see what is needed. And it's like they're stepping forward into this sort of magical power of Virgo, which is medicine for society. Virgos, you have to have a Virgo in your life or you're going to drop, you're going to drop something. Yeah, you need Virgos are important to have because they say, hey, did you notice that this thing is falling out of the back of your car? You know, that kind of.
I feel like, did that happen to you, Madeline?
I find that Virgos do. I have my blinds. Everybody has a blind spot in their chart, and mine is Virgo. So maybe it's just me that has that need for Virgo. But anyway, so you're really stepping into more north, eh, believing in your gift that now makes you step forward to be a courageous leader in. Now, Virgo is not necessarily the leader energy, but you are going to step forward and be courageous to lead in your life, to be of service, and to step into that non-shadow aspect of yourself that's just really understand what a Virgo energy is actually really for, which is not to annoy everybody. You know, a
We're
lot of
not
people.
we're not picking on you, Virgos. We
No,
love you.
everybody gets every time we do one of these, somebody gets a little picked on. Sorry. But anyway, you're gonna like who it makes you. More mellow, more flow, more easy, less stressed. and more able to sort of tune in, because when the Virgo can get out of that state, they're tuned in, they really pick stuff up. And so now we've got these abilities to really initiate these new beginnings from a new aspect of yourself that's tuned in and more, less, with that South Node in your first house, less reactive, less busy, less preoccupied with things that aren't really your dharma. Busy for the sake of busy. So yes, so that's kind of hopefully Leo there. I mean Virgo, in a nutshell.
All
Moving
right.
along.
Well, we've got another theme here with the colors. We're on a pink roll right now. We have the pink
Wow.
spirea for Virgos. And again, we've got more heart healing. So I guess that's something that everyone needs to hear right now, that is needed. The pink spirea heals the heart through laughter, having
We
some
gotta take that
fun.
little splitter out of the heart of the Leo.
Yeah. It's a message to play more. So Virgos, go out there and play more, have some fun, laugh. That's going to be a key opening for you when it comes to some of the deep healing that's taking place with this 12th house placement of the sun and the moon in your chart. So I don't know. There's something about this. It's also, when I look at it, it almost reminds me of two things. It's almost like, it reminds me of like something on a playground, like one of those like toys that you used to like, there was like something in the center and you spin around it, maybe a maypole. You could even look at it like from a slide, something you just kind of like play on. So I definitely feel like there's some playful vibes for Virgo. So, even though there might be some deep introspection, there's also always time for fun. So pink spirea for Virgo.
Yeah, nice. They're getting the courage to shine.
Yes,
All right.
playfully. All right,
Yes.
Libra
Libra, Libra, Libra. You've got Saturn in your seventh, this Leo. Okay, so
card, card, my dear.
thank you. Libra. Libra. In Italian, Libra means freedom. Libera. Open. Open. It's free. Something is free. It's libera. Isn't that interesting? So Libras are going to be liberating themselves through the social media networking venture. They're going to sort of have this new beginning in their public persona, getting out there. I know a Libra who I think will maybe get published. This is a kind of a new, perhaps a writing project opens up and they have a publishing offer, or they decide to publish something on their own, or they decide to do a website, or these new beginnings is this new project, a passion project, online social media. They decide to go online and start coaching or leading in some area with Saturn in your seventh house. It could be that, and it could involve a divine partner connection there, and then with that Uranus in your ninth house, Libras are the writers. I think almost Libras are going to start writing projects that they get published on, and that in the next 8 years they become prominent. Prominent. I remember an astrologer said this about Libras, and now I know why, because they're going to have Uranus in their ninth house for like 8 years, where they suddenly get exposed, notoriety, publishing contracts. Libras, if you have an interest in writing, this is the time to do it and to get it out there, to be out there on social media, to speak about your project, to initiate it out in the world, a creative new entrepreneurial venture involving friends, new tribes, new word of mouth connections that really increase your job. You could meet somebody online if you're single, and then this turns into a very committed long-term relationship because you've got Saturn there. Most Libras are going to get married. Usually when Saturn is in your seventh house, usually you get married, because Saturn rules the fourth house for Libras. So it involves a new solid living situation. They're going to move into a very stable living environment for a while. And then they've got Pluto there. So the Libras are going to be, with the Pluto in their fifth house, they've really got some sort of humanitarian venture involving collaborations and entertaining people, writings that are entertaining. Fifth house is entertainment, getting over their fear of exposing some sort of truth. or what people think of them. They're overcoming. I can think of maybe a Libra taking on some sort of spiritual project or some sort of spiritual writing thing that normally people would have thought you were really woo-woo and crazy about, but they're behind it. And everybody's shifting to more spiritually open-mindedness anyway. So it's like it's time now. So there's some sort of very creative writing project that comes in that financially liberates you and becomes very, very successful. It exposes you and makes you very mainstream, published, or very well known in your tribe, and you get a lot of word of mouth, and you're now no longer afraid. You're not sitting at home thinking, should I write this? You do it.
Do it. Now's the time.
Yes,
So,
this is a yang new moon.
well, we have the Brugmansia for Libra, and this was, I believe, the flower for the Cancer new moon. So if we're kind of following the story of these moons in each cycle building on the other, which they are, think about this in terms of how you're building, Librans are building this into this Leo energy to be able to now to create these communities. And the Brugmansia has a lot to do with creating a community of support. So you will have either a community that you create to support you, or you're creating a community to support others. And this has an energy of ease and like letting loose, like courage. Again, we've got that Leo courage and assimilation of any change and growth that occurred during the Cancer new moon. So you're assimilating that now, and that might be part of what you're sharing out in the world. And we have this, the green in the background of this card. So a lot of heart energy again. So Brugmansia for Libra.
Breakthrough, breaking through. Uranus sextiling your Saturn in your seventh. That's a total breakthrough energy, that flower, to me.
It is looking pretty like whew, wide open. Okay,
Scorpio
Scorpio.
by Mars. You're having some kind of an interesting thing going on in your life too with that. You're on with that South Node in Mars, causing you to release some sort of karmic patterning and South Node Virgo can play out in many, many different ways. Mars, South Node, Virgo, but it's mostly letting go of trying to control things. One way of looking at that. So anyway, speeding along here for Scorpio. So Scorpio, you have this in your 10th house. So new career beginnings, new bold creative projects. Perhaps you decide to get out there and take some sort of a new creative angle on your career, or to become a teacher, or because Leos can be teachers too, or to be like a leader in your career, to step out and be more creative expression, to have more creative expression in your career, to choose a career that embodies your creative expression. And you're having the courage to initiate some new angle or new side to your career that empowers you more creative expression. And Mercury retrograde is an idea from the past, or an opportunity from the past comes in. You get offered a job on the new moon in the 10th house. You get offered a opportunity, a creative entrepreneurial venture. You're invited to join in on a creative project, or you get promoted in your work and you become more known or more respected and more seen, and you have more confidence, but it scares you because it's opposite Pluto and you have to step up and be a bigger person, and it's scary. But all in all, you become more new beginnings that give you more notoriety, more recognition. You've got, you're letting go South Node, that Mars, you're letting, in your 11th, you're letting go of what people think about you. You're liberating yourself in the public arena. You're freeing yourself up a little bit, like letting your freak flag fly a little. And then, Saturn in your 6th, these are work houses. This is a very work energy. So this is a new beginning that puts you on a long-term career path that is involving a creative entrepreneurial sovereign start. Moving along.
All right. Well, we have wild geranium. We've got, so again, that kind of pinkish color and green showing up here. So we've got some themes. It'll be fun to see what these look like laid out together, which I will be sharing in my email. If you want to sign up for that, check that out below. But there's, I feel like this is very, very much supportive of that stepping out into the spotlight of that Leo energy, but in a position within your career. So it dissolves that tendency to wait for the perfect time feeling like you're not ready, feeling like you're not good enough, knowing that now is the time. It's pure aligned action time. Um, you're talking about that letting go of what other people think of you, not worrying about that, and really just taking that leap of faith and taking that leap. And likely it will have some sort of collaborative element to it. You've got these two flowers here. There might be somebody that you need to help you along that path or collaborate together. It's, learning from each other, growing with each other. So the wild geranium for Scorpio.
Yeah, that looks like that's what do we see in the fifth house for Scorpio? Yeah, that's the Aries house. So it looks like there's a relationship here and co-collaborative venture coming in,
Yeah.
or pregnancy, child. Saggies, ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is in its exaltation, so you have a good year, Sagittarius. I'm Saggy Sun, Cancer rising, Pisces moon. All Jupiter's blessing me this year, big time. So I'm happy about that. All right. So Sagittarius have Leo in their ninth. So these new beginnings in some either traveling opportunity opens up, that's some sort of creative, like for instance, my son is Sagittarius. He probably gets opportunities to travel, to do his music, to perform. Opportunities, new creative ventures open up. A writing project could open up for Sagittarius. Sagittarius are writers too. The Sagittarius has a tail. The horse has a tail. The animals that have tails, they're good at telling tales. Sagittarius are writers. Ninth house could get published. With that, again, Uranus transit in your seventh, but it's most likely collaborative, and your life is going to change in the relationship sector. A lot of shifts and changes going on through relationships, but you take on some sort of leadership role in a creative venture that could involve travel, teaching. You say you want to be a spiritual coach, you come out, be a spiritual coach. A lot of Sagittarians are performers, so you could be an astrologer and you decide to start astrology, and that becomes your big new passion. So yeah, that's Sagittarius.
Well, we have red hibiscus for Sagittarius. And so we have a little bit of that orange around this bright red fiery flower. The red hibiscus brings a fresh perspective to Sagittarians. So we have that ninth house, like really higher, learning, wisdom, and what they're likely going to do is like learn from previous experiences, learn from things that maybe haven't felt super comfortable, and then be able to distill that wisdom in a way that leads them into a whole new, fresh beginning, and be able to maybe be courageous in how they integrate that wisdom, that knowledge that they learned during this time period. So, red hibiscus
I
for
like
Sag.
Yeah, that looks like they believe in themselves. And like hopefully my son, he's got the confidence to start these new beginnings and just stand
Yes,
on that stage and flare, let
do
his,
it.
add his flair to the world. It's like, this is the energy of make a splash.
Do it. Do it.
Brave,
Okay.
make a splash. So now we're on Capricorn. Capricorn, this card up, Capricornies. Um, So this is going to be big new beginnings in your living situation because you have Saturn there, Aries is there, and then you've got this Leo in your eighth house. So this is a relationship, most likely a relationship. You've got Jupiter in your seventh. This would be an initiating romantic partnership and connection and joining your resources, putting a new creative project. Again, this is opposite Pluto in your second, so you're going to be really feeling way better about your financial future. Joint resources involved with perhaps a relationship person. What else would be a new project? A occult project about spirituality, the hidden world. What else? A new beginning in leadership in psychological ventures, or leading people, teaching people in psychological transformative procedures. Like you could do a creative shamanistic dances and creative music that helps transform people, new beginnings that transform energies in people. Leos are really shamany. They're very energy. It's a real that's a real shaman energy to sort of do some sort of creative musical dance that helps transform people's energies. It's very Leo over the eighth. It's very shamany. So it's like some sort of, if you've got planets there in your Capricorn, you're probably a shaman. So you're really here. And what shaman, just what that means is you're here to really help shift people's energies, literally like frequency, like not just saying stuff, but like energetically doing it. And so I would say there's a big relationship coming in for Capricorns that they then join in their resources and become co-collaborative in transformative projects, you know, spiritually transformative humanitarian projects that serve humanity.
So here we go again with that pinkish purple color. We have the lilac for Capricorn. And if when you look at this, you can see there's transformation happening in this card. You
Yeah.
know, the buds, the colors of the flowers, the some that are open in different degrees. So the lilac is a message of flexibility, freedom, adaptation, you know, being able to adapt to some of the changes, the shadows that might be revealed with that eighth house placement, be able to let go of control. Capricorn can be a little controlling. They're ruled by Saturn. So letting go of control, which will lead to bigger opportunities and better opportunities. And that makes their Capricornian nature very happy. So that lilac, it's a very, I don't know, it seems like kind of like a soft, gentle flower, yet somewhat strong. Like the petals strike me as being pretty tough. So, you know, kind of that balance within their lives, this moon cycle will be really helpful. So lilac for Capricorn.
Yeah, I think why we're getting these lighter cards is that I think this new moon is lightening up some of these heavier energies. It's like
Mm,
fun energy, and it's very dharmic. So
yeah. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to lay these out and see how
yeah,
they play
that
out.
looks nice.
Yeah.
Aquarius, you've got Pluto in your first house, so you're really here to, at this point for the next, 17, 18 years, you're going to be empowering yourself.
Madeline, hard. I don't mean to interrupt you like that. I
No,
feel
no,
bad.
it's fine. I'd rather you did. I regret it when, All right, so Aquarius, you've got Pluto in your first house, which is transforming you into very empowered, and you're going to be getting your power back. So if power struggles show up and you have to defend yourself, well, that's kind of what's going to have to happen here. But you do defend yourself. You're successful at it. You've got Pluto on your side, and Pluto in Aquarius is a much lighter energy. Then Pluto and Capricorn. That was pretty tough, that. All right. So now we're going to see this new moon in your relationship house, brand new relationship or new project with your relationship partner, with your true partner, or a new child coming in, a creative project, though, something where there was nothing and there is now something. That is the energy of Leo. So this passionate new beginning in a joint venture with a partner or spouse or if you're already married, this is a business venture with other people that you're making a contract, that you have a sole contract. And then it could very well be media related because we've got that Saturn in the third house for 2.5 years where you're probably going to be either working on a writing project, media project, selling things, communication, short distance travel, driving, if you have planets there. If you have Mercury there in Aries, you might be doing a lot of driving. But that third house is all about communication too. So leadership in some sort of creative writing, writing projects. I hate to go there again, but that's, one way of looking at it. Now that can be you could decide to become a social media influencer. You could become a designer for social media people, for other people. Be a content creator for other people, but you're definitely stepping into a leadership role or with a joint collaborative creative project, that will bring you into your humanitarianism effort because so you're feeling very empowered to take some sort of leadership position in expanding humanitarian knowledge and information around the third house and leading in that area. So teaching, informing people, bringing new knowledge, stepping out there, getting over the fear of not being a powerful being. Pluto in your first. Okay.
Well, for Aquarians, we have the African daisy, and I know for sure that this is in the
Wow.
Joy Juice blend. So we got this theme is still there, and the message is be silly, playful. So we've
Mm.
got a lot of the themes of Leo of that time to play. I agree with you, Madeline. I think the cards, the flowers are giving us that nudge to just have some fun. And we're all been through a lot. We're going through
Yeah.
a lot. That transformation doesn't have to be heavy all the time. So this also is a recognition of your talents. It also highlights your life's path, so some things might come into clarity for you. Another key note for this is joyful humility. And if you remember, the gene key that we were talking about has humility as the city, as that highest vibrational experience. And so this is also highlighting that again, humility through a joyfulness. So the African daisy for Aquarius. I'm loving that.
Ah, that looks like that Pluto in their first house, you know, stepping out and being the light workers that they're here to be. Like they've got
Hmm.
confidence.
Yeah.
Oh, go Aquarius.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay,
All right.
now for
Last
Pisces,
but not least, Pisces.
Pisces, Pisces. Pisces, Pisces. So Pisces has Leo over their sixth house because I know because my son is a Pisces and I read his chart all the time. And he has Mars in his sixth house. They're often musicians, Pisces, or artists or creatives. So they are going to their ruling planet. They're going to have a good year because their ruling planet is in exaltation in their fifth house, which is extremely lucky because that's by the way, Leo is a luxury energy too. The fifth house is luxury. So these are new beginnings that could bring you auspicious luxury in a creative venture. Tally, you've got Saturn in your second. So you're really changing your whole way of income and how you're making your money in the next 2.5 years. Is going to be a complete restructure. And and these are new beginnings that are going to initiate these because this is your sixth house, which is a work house. So this is very directed to a income based feeding, making money. Like it's a pentacle transit for you. And so a creative project from the past that's of high service, that's could very well be creative artistic ventures because most Pisces are, or it's an entrepreneurial. Sometimes people don't think they're creative, but then they've invented a business and they've got some sort of interesting little business. That's very entrepreneurial. That's very creative. Anytime you're solving a problem and you've got some sort of individual creative idea around it, that's very creative. And you could be letting go of relationships or toxic energies or toxic attachment or trying to control relationships or being focused on relationships because you have the South Node and Mars there. So you're really opening up to this creative new ventures. Things are opening up for Pisces in a big creative way on this new moon. They just had that new moon in Cancer, which is super auspicious. So it's like they're really stepping into a creative pack, great, basically new, creative, fantastic way of making income that's creative and inspiring. And that shifts their finances for shifts their total way of making money.
Mm. Well, here we go again.
Oh,
Pink,
wow.
pink magnolia for Pisces. So if you find yourself giving love to others with when it's so much so that it's depleting yourself, this is a reminder. So again, we have that theme of love again, to take care of yourself. So feeling complete and whole and worthy, not feeling like you need to do anything to feel that sense of worthiness from the outside. Don't feel like you have to give love in order to get love. Obviously, yes, give love, but not for getting the getting as being part of that. So, and you can see here we've got a couple of flowers together, so there might be some collaboration that's taking place. So what kind of comes through for me is really just taking care of yourselves and not over giving, really being
That's the
aware of
sixth
that.
house.
Exactly. Exactly. So pink magnolia, take exquisite care of yourself. And I believe this Leo full moon for all the signs highlights that really. I think that could be said for all of us.
Yes, but I hate to say this. I think it's especially auspicious for Pisces, probably more so than any of the signs, because their ruling planet is in the fifth house, which is the Leo house. So
Uh-huh.
they have this real luxury activation here in this year. Well, like the Lakshmi house. They could have we have a really good couple of transits coming up on the 26th too, which we didn't have time to talk about, but I think for Pisces, they may find the biggest luxurious shift of all of everybody.
Ooh,
Because I
okay.
think the world is going to start becoming more Piscean,
All
you
right.
know, or North Node Pisces.
Well, we will have to
There
see
you
how all
go.
that
Yeah.
unfolds, but we appreciate
Right
everyone for
Prince with the
paying.
Pisces.
um, we appreciate everyone that was here live. Erica was saying how she loved the horse story, so
Okay, good.
that's super
You're right.
fun. Um, the inner confidence projected outward. Yeah, exactly. That's a
Yep.
lot of what this cycle is about. Bold Leo lion. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. So thank you everyone for being here. Please like, comment, share. Madeline and I appreciate you being here, and we will see you in a couple weeks to share the wisdom in the cosmic chat about the Aquarius full moon. So stay tuned for that in a couple weeks. In the meantime, have fun, love with big hearts, and be silly. Bye for now.